We'd like to welcome you to another installment of Popcorn Piss and Vinegar. My name's Chris. This is Scott and John.
Hey.
Hey.
You can follow us on Twitter at PPVGuys, and you can also give us the thumbs up at Facebook at Popcorn Piss and Vinegar. To hear our shows and to get additional tastes of goodness, you can reach us over at www.popcornpissandvinegar.com. Today we're going to focus more on current events, new things coming out, things we've seen, television, movies, DVD, Blu-ray. So we'll just go ahead and move right along. All right, fellas. So I myself went and saw The Family, made by Luc Besson and produced by Martin Scorsese. And they pulled out all of the stops with Robert De Niro and Michelle Pfeiffer.
Wow, this sounds like this is going to be a good movie, right?
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be a good movie, but it was really, really strange. It's not really what I expected.
Strange in a good way?
No, I mean it had moments of goodness to it, but I don't know. It was just so disjointed. To me, when I watch a movie, there has to be a certain law of physics that has to be followed. I mean, in other words, that if there has to be rules within a movie universe. I mean, when you go and you do a whole bunch of outrageous crap and there's no consequences, that's kind of where I have a problem. I mean, De Niro just goes through, he does what he pleases, he just kills everybody or blows things up, and there's no worry or consequences about anything.
Remember the movies in the 80s? Like, you'd see these big, giant... Like, let's take Beverly Hills Cop, for instance. Like, all kinds of crazy things go on in that movie, and there are really no consequences.
Right, yeah,
this
right.
Is real life.
Axel Foley just strolls in, and he's charming, and he does his little scam thing, and plays... just kind of plays a character to get through situations, and people just kind of readily accept that.
Well, I didn't readily accept the fact that all the bad guys seemed to be more interested in shooting flower pots and right behind his heels than actually mowing him down with a machine gun.
Right, exactly. But I mean, at least when Axel Foley goes in and he tries to meet with the main bad guy and he gets thrown through a window, at least there's some consequence to that, as ludicrous as it may be.
So this had no consequences.
This movie has no consequences, and the characters are just completely. I mean, they're just.
Not even one-dimensional?
They're just narcissistic and like sociopathic almost. They just go through and they beat the crap out of people, and there's like nothing to it. It's just kind of what it is, and everybody just readily accepts that. They just accept that they've accepted that their personal property has been destroyed. They've accepted that they've got the crap beat out of them, and they're just instantly too scared to go after the cops and to get any. For there to be any recourse in the protagonist's actions. So.
It sort of sounds like The Fifth Element.
Yeah, but there's still like rules in that universe. People get their asses beat. There's consequences to their actions.
It sounds exactly what it's advertised. It's like, let's take Luc Besson and Martin Scorsese and mash it up.
Well, I'm gonna spoil a scene here actually because I thought was the best scene of the film.
It's only spoiling if we want to see it.
Right, exactly. There's a scene that happens in the movie that Robert De Niro tells his neighbors while he's living in this witness protection program that he's actually a novelist, and the whole time he's writing his memoirs as a gangster. But it's like he says, I want the truth to be told, but you never really get the impression that he's going to publish this or it's actually going to be published. So in this French community, what they'll do is that they'll have an American film that's sent to them.
Oh wait,
and
they're in France.
Yeah, they're in France.
Witness protection in France.
They're in the witness protection program in France.
I can't wait to know.
They're in Normandy. So. What they do is that they have a French community center that gets an American film, and they bring in a guest panelist to talk about the film. Well, the movie that they're going to watch is a Frank Sinatra film where Frank, I can't remember the title of the film, but Frank is a war veteran that's actually writing a novel, and he comes back home and the novel is incomplete. And since Robert De Niro is a novelist, they want him to go in and actually give his report on the film.
When does stuff start exploding?
So, that happens through the rest of the movie. That's the whole movie. But what's great is that the film that they get, they're sent the wrong film. So the film that they actually get is Goodfellas. So the De Niro has to give his account of Goodfellas as this character, and it's genuinely hilarious. It's a really good. It's probably the best scene of the film. I mean,
I give away the best scene.
I would have liked to seen that as like a 4-minute.
Right.
Well, I mean, I know you guys are rushing out to the theater to see it,
Right.
so.
Yeah. I like your version better.
Right,
Exactly.
But I think that's the best scene in the movie. And they should have just kind of like filmed that as like a short and just released that on the internet. That would have been pretty awesome.
Yeesh.
So that's kind of what I've seen recently. And I mean, I'm not really ever sorry that I like plop down money. I mean, if it's bad, it's bad. You know, you just got to roll the dice. You know?
It's part of the deal. I mean, there is plenty of. I've been actually playing catch up on all the summer movies that I missed. I saw Oblivion. I saw World's End, which is really good.
Yeah, I heard that's really good.
Yeah. So I have yet to go and see a recent movie. I guess in the past couple of weeks.
I just watched Jack Reacher and Hansel and Gretel Vampire Killer or Witch Killer, whatever they're called now. So I'm way behind the game.
And speaking of DVD Blu-ray, we had released Star Trek Into Darkness, the sequel to the successful 2009 reboot. Yeah, I saw it in the theater.
As did I.
I saw it in the theater too.
And watched it on Blu-ray. And I mean, I liked it. I mean, I can understand the bitching amongst the Star Trek community. They say, you know, essentially all they did was remake Star Trek 2 and just kind of...
No, they didn't. Actually, it didn't matter that it was Khan. That could have been like Joe Flammakajammer and it wouldn't have mattered. Like, there was nothing about that bad guy that made him particularly Khan-like, except the guy playing Spock, Zachary Quinto, with a callback to the original Wrath of Khan going, and he doesn't have the voice. He doesn't have
Yeah,
the...
well, he doesn't have the explosive charisma like Shatner has. So,
Exactly.
Yeah, he can't blow it out like Shatner.
No. I mean, it's like, that's iconic. And to step into those shoes with, you know,
It didn't bother me. It didn't bother me at all. Nope.
But did you connect with it? Were you like, that's so awesome?
I liked it. Yeah, I had a good time.
I mean, it was a solid movie, but it was not... They shouldn't have even bothered
if you're really
with Khan.
talking about... I'm going to step in it. If you're really talking about the first set of Star Trek movies that came out years back as really cinematic gold, then, you know, consider what we're comparing right now.
Wrath of Khan 2, I would argue, is probably in the top 20 science fiction films of all time.
Really?
Yeah, I would.
I'd agree with that. It's an excellent movie. It's really
good,
is.
but it's not...
Well, but you have to look at those things in the scope of time. Also,
and that's
Star Trek 1 was the motion picture was, I mean, horrible, really bad. And then they come back and they answer with the Wrath of Khan, and they just go back to their roots and they just blow it up with a good revenge story. I mean, it's just, awesome. I mean, dude, Ricardo Montalban, come on, man.
I get it. You know,
I mean, my only real complaint about Star Trek Into Darkness, I mean, the magic blood really sucked. I mean, that was just, horrible. Now moving forward with the future of your franchise, you have essentially defeated death. So in the third movie, you know, oh well, crap, Scotty died. He burned up in the generator. You know, let's go get some of Khan's magic blood and just inject him up, and you know, he pops back up like a daisy. You know, but
exactly.
but it works out.
Zombie Daisy.
But it works out good though, because now it's in the scope of other science fiction / comic book / action movies. Now you can go to escalation. If you need to kill a cast member to give, you know, the audience the effect that anybody can die, now you just outright disintegrate them. So then there's nothing to bring back with the magic blood.
Yeah.
I mean, after Wrath of Khan, they literally needed a whole other movie to bring Spock back. You know, like that movie ended with Spock dying, and I mean, I got choked up. You know, I still do.
Yeah, but did you really think that Spock was going to die? I mean,
after that, yes.
They like lined it up in the whole movie.
I sort of did too. But I felt like that was it.
They lined it up in the whole movie. You know,
I didn't realize we'd get 7 more.
Yeah, those dudes were old at the time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
I mean, in the movie, Kirk is dealing with the fact he's aging. He's like always cursing when he has to put on the bifocals and stuff. Where he goes, "Damn." You know, like so aging and mortality was like a deal in that movie, and then when Spock died, you're like, oh shit.
And we never had
reals,
we never had like the internet now where people can get rumors and whatnot, and
Sure.
you didn't know the weekend of a launch that they already put another $10 million down for number 3 or number 4 for that matter.
Oh yeah, movies now. Hell, they've
knew-
already got the trilogy written before they even filmed the first one. So I mean,
I
it's
just knew,
already
wow.
it's already brainstormed and on paper, and everything's ready to go. Well, I have to give some props to my dad about Star Trek 2, because I was like a little kid and I go see Star Trek 2 and he's with me and Spock dies and I'm like all bummed out, and I'm bummed out. I mean, man, I get Han Solo frozen, and
That's
I get
true.
Han Solo frozen and I get Spock dead, all within like 2 years. And my dad just looks at me. He's like, "Look, man." And my dad, you have to understand this guy. This guy is like the football fisherman, has no interest in anything movie-wise at all. He tells me, he's like, "Did you pay attention to the movie? They had like a planet that creates life. Spock's going to be fine." So there
Wow.
it is. So
we all missed it.
So yeah, I missed it. I'm like, yeah, but he's dead.
Well, was he telling you that just because he was like, "Come on, kids, stop crying"? It's
Oh,
embarrassing.
well,
He was paying
that too.
attention.
That was probably it. He was like, "Look, man, I don't feel like dealing with this shit." So,
Look, they're going to
cry about some meaningful shit.
Yes.
All right, well, moving on from DVDs, we got new television shows, and of course, this Tuesday is going to be the Marvel and Disney's reach into television with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., which is a highly anticipated television show based on the background characters of the Avengers and comic book.
Now, is it going to be tying into the next set of Phase 2 movies?
From what I've read is that they said they want to reference the movies, but they want to keep the television show kind of separate, to where as a moviegoer, you don't really have to watch the television show.
But you'll get it.
Right, exactly. They're going to loosely link together.
And this is after number 2. I mean, this is after Avengers, correct?
Yes,
right?
This picks up after Avengers. And I mean, I'm not spoiling anything. If you've seen the commercials, Agent Coulson, who's been a staple in all of the movies, the Avengers and all of the solo movies. I think he he appeared like in every one, but maybe one or two. He actually he dies in the Avengers, but they say that he's actually alive and he's forming a team of agents that are investigating all of this weird crap that's happening throughout the world.
Well, if you watch Buffy at all, I mean, you know that Joss Whedon pretty much treats death like a speed bump. Like, it doesn't surprise me he brought Colston
Well,
back.
and Joss also kills everything that you love.
Exactly. But he brings it back pretty much, too.
That's his forte. He kills everything you love.
Buffy died 3
Except for the
times.
Avengers. He didn't kill that. He did a good job.
Well, in the Firefly series, he decided to kill off Wash in the Serenity film, and that was kind of heartbreaking. I really liked Wash. He was a...
You are a spoiler. I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah,
You have now.
Oh, you have now. Now you've
Never
seen
mind.
it.
Anyone want the Blu-rays? I've got Serenity and Firefly.
God, you haven't watched Serenity? What the hell's wrong with you?
Just haven't got around to it, man.
Well, as far as Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is concerned, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I think, is going to, from what I can guess, it looks like it's going to kind of be a hybrid between the X-Files and Fringe with a Marvel Comics.
It reminds me kind of like the first season of Heroes.
Yeah, right. Good call.
Yeah.
Good call.
Which should have only been one series, but
Yeah, it should have been one
show.
season.
Exactly.
Right.
But that's sort of what it reminds me of. Like, hey, we have all these superheroes. They're on the cover. We have a government agency. We're going to put it together.
Yeah,
Fight some crime.
and I think they're going to use that as a platform to kind of launch some of their lesser Marvel characters that can't carry film franchises.
Right. Make everyone happy.
And I think you might see some crossover. What they might do is find like a hot television star that can cross over into films, and you may see one of the characters appear on the television show, and vice versa. Maybe one of those characters will appear in
Sweeps.
the movie.
Absolutely.
They'll do that for Sweeps Week to where they can pull in some stuff, and to give it some connection to the movies. I did read that Kobe Smothers, who played Maria Hill in the Avengers, she is actually going to appear on several episodes of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So she's on How I Met Your Mother, and
Right.
she's already in a successful
TV.
television franchise. So that'll go and crossover.
That's going away though.
Yeah,
How I Met
right,
Your Mother.
and that was the big thing. That's going away, and they said that based on that, it would be pretty easy to actually capture her to go on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. So
Capture her.
Yeah, right.
I like that.
Exactly. Well, that's how it all is. It's like a big quest. So, and speaking of quest, I actually read an interview from Chris Hemsworth, who plays Thor in the upcoming Thor: The Dark World, which I think we get the first week of November, and we'll also star in Avengers 2. Mm-hmm. He was on a promotional tour for his new movie Rush, where he plays an Indy stock car racer.
Looks good.
And yeah, it looks very good. It's a Ron Howard movie. That's on my list. I'm actually going to go see it. They asked him, how's the war going between Marvel and Warner Brothers, who just released a successful reboot of Man of Steel? And Chris's reply to that was, is there even a war? I think Marvel's winning right now. So
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. It feels like the arms race between the U.S. and Russia back in the Cold War days. Like DC is trying to catch up, and if Superman versus Batman does anything less than Avengers type numbers,
they will.
Oh, I think they will. I mean, it's going to, but. What else after that? They don't have as robust set of characters. I mean, do we honestly think Wonder Woman is ever going to be well done? Like,
I don't understand
I think it could be.
Why
really?
Can't it be?
I think it could be. Definitely.
Wasn't there a television show for Wonder Woman?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Lynn Carter. Yeah.
No. Yes, I know that. I mean, like
David E. Kelly.
Yeah,
David E. Kelly wrote
David
it.
E. Kelly was supposed to do a relaunch
I think I saw
of it.
costumes and everything.
Yeah, they
shot a pilot.
It.
They shot a pilot. It never did air.
Right. So, I mean, you'd have to do a radical reboot, a complete overhaul, to the point where I don't know. It just the invisible jet and the goofy ass costume. I don't know.
I mean, they did the Batmobile. They can do an invisible jet. If they made the Batmobile look cool, they can make an invisible jet look cool.
Well, I mean, with Wonder Woman and Wonder Woman suffers.
Listen to what you just said.
You wait.
Okay.
You wait. You watch it.
Wonder Woman suffers from the same problem as many comic book characters. Is that, man, her villains are just so weak, and I think that's the thing. You got to bring it back to the drawing board. You know, even Spider-Man right now, they've relaunched that franchise, and they're going to start dipping in that territory very quick. I mean, I'm reading some of the villains that they have upcoming, and I mean, like maybe Spider-Man has like maybe 2 or 3 good villains. And everything else is just, I mean, it's just trash because they never updated the characters. They just kind of always languished in goofy comic book hell, you know, throughout the 70s. And
but for a Wonder Woman movie, you just need one or 2 good villains, and that's it. You don't have to have a franchise. We can have a good movie and just be done with it. And then she can star in, you know, whatever, the ensemble movies and do her thing.
Well, for Warner to be successful, I think there needs to be some emphasis. I mean, especially on Wonder Woman and the Flash. I mean, we all know that they shat all over Green Lantern. So I mean, it's just kind of,
you know, we did see that happening.
Right. I mean, with Green Lantern, if they ever come out with Justice League and they decide that they're going to go ahead and they're going to go ahead and they're going to move forward with creating an Avengers-style film in the WB universe. I mean, with Green Lantern, you may as well just kind of inject it in that movie and just kind of restart within that film.
I don't see a Flash movie being any good. I don't see that happening.
Well, I disagree. If I read, you know, I read a lot of stuff when I was younger, and there's a guy named Mark Waid who did stuff with the Flash that was absolutely amazing. And I think if they focus on his material, they can make a killer Flash movie.
Did he still have lightning bolts coming out of his ears on the costume?
Of course. It's a Flash, man.
No sale. That looks ludicrous.
A dude with bat ears
in the same
and a bat on his costume.
Yeah, in the same universe as The Dark Knight, where it's all worked out.
Well, let me ask you this question: what's more ludicrous, lightning bolts coming out of the Flash's ear, or David Hasselhoff saying that he is a better Nick Fury than Samuel L. Jackson because Stan Lee walked on set in the 1984 version of Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., and told Hasselhoff he was Nick Fury?
1984. That's how long ago that was.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug. It doesn't count. I mean, honestly.
But to bring it up now, I mean, why?
I actually want to see Knight Rider remade with Samuel Jackson now.
Yes.
But you know
He's a better Michael Knight.
But you know that Hoff You know that Hoff actually had to come back on that statement because he actually tweeted to Samuel L. Jackson, "It's okay, L, I really think you are the shit," as Nick Fury. I was just talking out of my ass, just making a lame comparison.
I was drunk eating sandwiches with my daughter again. Sorry about that.
Right. Snorted a little Coke, didn't know what I was thinking, went ahead and rock and roll.
Right.
You should come and hang out in Germany sometime, Sam.
I'm big.
Well, for those of you all who are listening outside of the headquarters here, we are based in New Orleans, Louisiana. We're three cats here from New Orleans, and whenever we hear about films that are being based on New Orleans characters of folklore within our city, we're excited that Robert De Niro will possibly play infamous gangster Carlos Marchello in an upcoming film produced by Leonardo DiCaprio and also starring Leonardo. Leonardo is going to play a FBI agent trying to get a confession from Carlos that he actually put out a hit on John F. Kennedy and Bobby Kennedy for him being deported. Because Bobby Kennedy actually deported Carlos Marchello.
And who's doing this movie?
It's going to be produced by Leonardo DiCaprio's film house.
All right.
And he's actually going to produce, I don't know if direct, but I think he's going to produce and star. And De Niro is tapped to play Carlos Marchello.
Quick side quest here. Have you guys seen 13 Days?
No.
No.
Fantastic film. And Bruce Greenwood made a great Kennedy. That's all I got to say about that. But that is, the JFK stuff has always really intrigued me.
Yeah,
so
sure.
I'm that sounds pretty damn good. And any kind of
here. That's gonna be shot here.
Of course. I mean, we've pretty much become Hollywood South. There's so much stuff that films here now. I mean, it's a no-brainer to film it here. Of course. I mean
there's a map that a buddy of mine was showing me. California, back in the day, it was a filmmaker's map that showed different locations in California that could pass for like Switzerland or
awesome.
Spain, or it was really cool. And I was thinking, I'm like, the reason we are Hollywood South now is because the democratization of the technology. Like back in the day, you needed an actual mountain range or whatever to pass for a different location, but now you can create it on a green screen set. So that pretty much is how we're able to, that and the tax incentive. So go New Orleans.
Oh, definitely. Well, and the other thing with New Orleans as well, and it was rumored for a while, and it was actually scouted here. They were going to film The Dark Knight Rises here.
I remember that.
And they were going to film. Well, this was a consideration to film here, and the reason why they said the only reason they didn't pick New Orleans is because we're a small city. We're only 1 million people in the day, while working, and then at nighttime there's only 400,000 people, and there's not that big sprawling metropolis scenes that they can just take shots of. We are a small city, but as far as filming something gothic like Batman, we have the architecture here. But you see a lot of things also. It's not only New Orleans. Throughout the entire state you see things go, because they can go to smaller towns that actually have more of a Midwest type feel. They can go shoot things in Shreveport, they can go shoot things in Clinton, they can go shoot things outside of Baton Rouge that kind of give you that anywhere USA type feel.
Yeah.
That the excellent Johnny Knoxville, Sean William Scott, Dukes of Hazzard film.
Oh yeah, that was
and who can forget?
Who can forget? And that was shot here. I forgot.
It was shot in most of it was shot in Clinton, Louisiana, because
some of that stuff was shot downtown though.
Yeah. I think they did Lee Circle and things like that for some of the car chase scenes, but. I just can't get over Burt Reynolds as Boss Hogg. I was thinking DeVito. If you're going to do Boss Hogg. But
my problem with Dukes of Hazzard is the same problem I have with just about every other movie that's shot here, is that talking about the laws of physics, it's like car chase scenes appear to go through wormholes that take people from the French Quarter to the other side of the bridge.
Yeah, well, that's because you're from here.
Yeah,
you're from here.
it.
And that's the whole thing. It wasn't New Orleans, man. It was Hazard County.
Right.
So
it's not the French Quarter. It's the Hazard Corner.
Hazard physics.
Right.
So now that we've moved on from the Dukes of Hazzard here, move back here to television real quick. I was watching Kimmel a few nights ago, and Ben Affleck was a guest on the episode, and for the first time has spoken about his cast as Batman, which we did our first show
right
on Affleck being cast as Batman, And I think he handled it. With a lot of class. He came on and he was very funny about it. He said that he went and a lot of people came to him and told him, look, just don't pay attention to what they say on the internet, because he said it's not only you. You know, everybody who's always cast as different characters within film franchises, everybody always bitches about it. And, I mean, he's right. And they brought up the stuff that we had talked about in the first episode.
Probably
about
didn't hear our show.
Things that were...
Then.
No, but
exactly.
I mean, but I'm just referencing what he had talked about.
No, but I'm saying if he stayed off the internet, he probably...
definitely, yeah. Ben didn't hear the first epic episode where we actually praised him and gave him the thumbs up of approval as Batman. But what he said was he checked on one website, and it was one of the announcements that is Batman, and he said he went to the first comment on the section, and he said the comment was, "No!" So he just thought that was really hilarious.
It reminds me of like that scene in, I guess it's Jay and Silent Bob, when they find out the movie's being made of them, and they go in the movies and they check the internet thing.
Yeah, that's it, man. They want their motherfucking movie check, man.
Yeah, the people talking about him, and he goes on a rant. That's exactly what I can see Ben Affleck doing that same thing.
He survived Benifer. I mean, nothing is going to get under that guy's skin after that.
I'll just give this to everybody who listens to the show, and I mean, I won't read it because it takes too much time. But here's something to look up that's really cool. If you want a really cool opinion on Ben Affleck being cast as Batman, go look up the comedian Patton Oswalt and read his take on Ben being cast as Batman, and it is absolutely true.
I'm going to check that out.
Just to paraphrase, he said, here is a guy who got knocked off of the pedestal, through all kinds of tabloid controversy, and he took a step back. Instead of taking failure and crawling back in a corner, he took a step back and reestablished his career, and he draws a lot of parallels to Bruce Wayne and Ben Affleck's career. And it's very, very cool.
There you go.
Very cool stuff.
Patton Oswalt, the king of overanalysis. I love that guy.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, he's a great guy. He's funny as hell. So
let's get him on here.
Yeah, we'll try and do that. And to wrap that up, we are Popcorn, Piss, and Vinegar. Our next show, we are going to dedicate entirely to the holy franchise of filmmaking, Star Wars. We hope that you tune in for that one.
And also check out, if you go on our website, you can see us do our thing after the show. We just keep going and ranting and raving via Twitter, but all on our website, you can actually go and follow that and see what's going on.
Definitely, and by all means, jump in. It's going to be hashtag PPVGuyTalk. You can go ahead and hashtag that, and by all means, jump into the conversation. We love interaction. We love that stuff. It gives us ideas to do future shows.
Yeah, and thanks for listening, and thanks for giving us all the ideas that you've given us so far.
Definitely. We appreciate it. You can also listen to the show and see all of this juicy goodness at www.popcornpissandvinegar.com. You can also follow us at PPVGuys and do the same at Facebook and give us the thumbs up. See y'all next time. Thank you.